See if we're ready. Hey. Almost centered. Ta-da! There we are. Good morning, artists. Happy Monday. I know it's technically a holiday weekend, but I still wanted to make sure to give you guys enough time to do some artwork if you wanted to get started right away. Or if you're waiting till a little bit later to watch this, that's fine too, but happy Memorial Day either way. It has been hot lately. Oh my goodness. Did you guys feel that weather yesterday? It was steamy. I got a few more days of that too, apparently. But we're going to be moving on and working on our new assignment today. I believe we've got about 3 more weeks left, technically, of school. So we've got a couple more projects that we're going to sneak in there. We are starting something new today. Before we do that, though, I do want to announce the winner of our Paper Crane Challenge. A couple people did make the attempt to do more than just the required 2. And it was a pretty big winner, I have to say. Did actually more than I did over the course of the whole week. So congratulations to Huara, yay! She made 314 cranes. Oh my goodness. So I'll be getting in touch with her to figure out what it is that she would like for me to do for the drawing that I'll be working on later this week after we finish the assignment. And we're going to get into that today. So before I turn you around, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a drawing where you have to trace an object first and then turn the outline of that object into something else. So you are taking something that is strangely shaped, we're going to trace it, and then you're going to turn it into something else. We're going to see what the outline looks like and try to make it into something different. So you are not drawing the item, you are using it to create an outline. Now I want you to pick something that is oddly shaped, nothing too simple. So nothing that is like very easy. Okay, stay away from that. Stay away from like rectangles, no tracing cups or anything like that. No tracing anything that's super square. How old is this? Oh my God. So try to pick something that's a little bit odd. All right, so glue bottle is a good one because it's got a weird shape. Giant crazy pens, that would work. You could even take a stuffed animal and you could use that as your tracing item. What we're going to use, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a pair of scissors, but they are an odd pair of scissors. I use this for if I need to cut like strong wire or metal or plastic. They're super tough scissors. So I'm going to use that today for my drawing. Okay? So I'm going to spin you around and I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing. So you start with the tracing and then I'll show you how we're filling it in. All right? Spinny, spinny. All right. So I'm going to pop that on my piece of paper. I'm going to start in pencil. And I'm just going to go right around the outside of it. Now if you use something like scissors or anything that has like an inside spot, you can choose to use that or not. That's going to kind of be up to you. I'm just going to use the outside for now. So there's my crazy pair of scissors. Now right off the bat, you can try turning it different ways to see what it is that works out the best. But I'm going to go with, I think this looks like some kind of a crazy animal head. So before that, let's do a little outlining. I'm actually going to do this right in pen because I want it to show up nice. So you're going to have some options. You can choose to go just black and white, or you can choose to color. I will let you do either way. This looks like a nose. So we'll just get right into that. If you choose to go for color, that means you're going to do your drawing part and then color it in. If you decide that you're going to do something that is just in black and white, that means you either need to do some shading or you're going to be doing some cool design type stuff. And I'm going to recommend doing the design since we just finished doing that cool design project with the circles. You'll probably see what I'm seeing in a moment. Color that in. So I think probably the easiest thing to do would be to see if there's a way to turn it into some kind of a creature. Those tend to be pretty fun to do. Kind of like the way that I was painting the rocks before and making different parts of them look like different animals. My pen's feeling a little bit dry. See if I can clean it real quick. Better. So in this project, you're not doing anything that's necessarily too realistic. I want you to have some fun with it. There, looks like he's got little paws there. It's definitely a weird shaped face for him, but I think we're going to make it work out. Let's erase some of that pencil in there. So as we're doing this, couple quick important things. You need to make sure that you put your name on this paper. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. And when you go to take your picture, I want you to not only take the picture of your drawing, but I want you to have your object nearby. So either just off the page or on the table next to it, but you're going to need to take a picture not only of what you've done for your art, but also the object that inspired you to do this. Okay? We need to do that for a couple different reasons. We're still having people that are trying to turn in pictures they found off the internet and saying that they are their own work. You need to not do this, please, because they are getting caught and they are getting no credit. And I'll stress this especially when I actually write up the assignment. But if you decide that you are going to try and turn in other people's work and say that it's yours and you get caught, not only do you get no credit, you're also going to not have the chance to turn it in again. You need to do your own artwork. We're going to start getting really serious about this. If you tried to take somebody's artwork and go out there and claim it as yours, if you were in the situation where you were trying to sell it or make any kind of money off of it, you could actually face charges for theft. So this isn't just about me making sure that everyone's doing their work. This is a thing that can happen if you choose to be a thief, if you choose to steal. So we're going to have a little bit harsher consequences, I think. So I'm just kind of thickening up some of these lines right now before I get into the next step. So at this point, if you were going to do your coloring, you could go ahead and start doing some coloring, work on a little background and stuff. if you're going to go the design route, now's where you can start using some of those tricks that we were doing previously when we were making our different circles. So you can start thinking about what kind of designs might be good for the different shapes. Remember, you're not doing something that has to be realistic. So like I'm going to go on the inside of his ear, and I'm going to add these curving stripes. Stripes are a great way to fill in a space that it's really easy to do. You can almost think of it, if you're going the route of you're doing the black and white, as you are creating a coloring page for somebody else. Same the way that we did the circles. And then where we went outside the lines, we'll just make the line a little bit thicker. Okay. Let's go into his nose. I want to add a little more detail in there. Just kind of putting in a few little random lines. There we go. And let's look into the rest of him now. I'm going to do some dots. Now, if you're doing this with a pen, if it's just like a regular ballpoint pen, kind of like one of these, just a regular pen, they're not so good for doing dot type stuff. You really should do some kind of like a marker pen, like a Micron, or even just using a marker can work. Or even a Sharpie or a Sharpie pen. Those are great for doing dots. I like dots because they fill the space up. And in the case of a little creature like this, it kind of feels like almost like fur. Now I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to go right up and around the eye, because I'm going to turn that into its own little section. Now I'm not going to connect it to the mouth because I want to make sure that the mouth stays as its own thing. But once I have a line, now I can start having a little bit of fun with it. I'm going to just leave this part kind of on its own. And I'm just going to start creating some stuff. We're just going to have some fun with it. This could almost look like a scale in a weird way, if you wanted to turn it into a scaly animal. Man, yesterday was super warm, wasn't it? It was crazy how hot it was. Zoom in just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Let's see, this ear, I don't want to do the stripes again, but I wanted to do something kind of dark. Okay, here's another thing that I'll do a lot in my drawings, if I'm just doing pen stuff, is I do curlies. They work kind of similar to the dots, where they help to fill in a space, but because they're lines, it comes out looking almost a little bit darker, and it creates a slightly different look and texture. So just doing these little curls is a great way of just adding a little bit to this. try to keep them pretty small though. And going in all sorts of different directions. The odder the directions, the better this works out. Now the tracing part and the initial drawing of this went pretty quickly. I'd say it probably took me not even 10 minutes to do the main part of the drawing. One of the things that is especially important in my classes, and this is going to be for this project and for any future projects you might have in an art class, when you have a certain amount of time, you're expected to do a certain amount of work. Just because you could get something done really quickly doesn't mean that you shouldn't continue to add to it with the time you have to make something even better. So even if you finish the initial outline of this, I want you to make sure that you're going back and spending a decent amount of time on this. I want it to look like you have spent at least half an hour, if not a full hour on this. If it looks like you just did something in 5 minutes, it's not going to look like you made it really worth it. This is not just something just to throw together to turn in. I want you guys to actually try and get some actual nice little artwork happening. All right, let's do something in this ear. Let's do a wave design. Like an S. So especially for those of you who haven't had me as an art teacher, when we are in class, there is an expectation that you spend that time in class, that hour in class, doing artwork. So usually, however long it's going to take me to do something, I expect you to work at least that long. So if I work for an hour on something, I kind of expect for you to also spend about an hour to do your assignment. That's kind of fun. Let's add a little. I feel like I should have a Sharpie. Just going to make this a little bit thicker. My good Sharpies are upstairs at the moment. Just want to make this nice and visible. There we go. All right. So now this was part of the scissor that just ends up kind of hanging down and is kind of becoming a little bit a part of the rest of the body, which is fine to do. You can kind of alter things, making different shapes to make it work out. What can we do here though? I kind of like the curvy feeling it's going, so I don't know if I want to do anything too sharp, but let's do something a little fun in here. I did a whole little series of artwork at one point that included having a little moon shape involved. So even if this animal might not have a moon shape, we're going to put one on. We're going to turn this area into our own little circle. We'll make it look like this round shape is meant to be here as part of this design. I don't know what this is. It's just kind of a cool little butterfly flower shape. This part got a lot more spaced out than the other one did. Funny how that can work out. So in here, let's see, let's round this part off so we can kind of finish off this area. Just gonna do some stripes, guys. Just gonna have some stripes coming out from the middle. It's a little tougher in these spots where it kind of separated. But there we go. And then let's just sneak a little echo of that shape right there. See how that's looking? So you can still see the creature in there, but now you've got all these cool little designs and stuff that are just kind of working with it. Just gonna kind of trace around the shape in his paws here. Ta-da. Oh, I know. You know what's a fun shape? Is the bean. This is another thing that appeared in a different one of my projects. Was this almost like a jelly bean shape. I couldn't tell you exactly why it became such a thing, but I think I just liked that it was a nice rounded shape. It worked out pretty well for when I did carving type projects. Yeah. But echo it on the other one. And right here I'm going to do that kind of flowery shape again, since I did that up near the neck. Alright. I got the belly here. Let's turn that into a little separate spot. And I'm going to do some stripes on there again, like on the ear. It can sometimes look really nice if you use similar designs. It kind of makes it feel a little more consistent. So by having I'm actually turn this. Having the stripes up here and down here, it kind of helps to tie things together. So I'm actually going to turn my page and I know I've talked about this before. When you're drawing curves, it's much easier to follow the curve of your hand. You can see that's going a lot better than it did here. All because of the way I'm holding my hand. Alright, now this is a big space, so what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to divide this space up. So I'm going to start by making a little space here, and I'm going to bring back the dots. So again, having that repeating idea helps make the whole drawing feel a little bit closer together. And let's make another split. And I'm going to sneak one more. Almost looks like stripes on his body now. So in this area, let's go back to this shape. We'll do it on both sides. Very nice, very nice. Okay. The center's a little bit plain. What can we do? I'm gonna do something a little bit new. Let's put in just some circles. Keep them kind of close together. All right. Now in this little stripe here, I'm going to go back and do the curlies that I did up on the ear. So mostly bringing back old ideas, sneaking in a few newer ones as well. It's a little harder to do in a small space like this. You tend to get things that start to work the same over and over again. You just gotta be careful. Okay. And for this last section, I'm going to go back and kind of repeat my bean, but it's going to be a half a bean, as if it's going onto the other side of its body as well. Half beans. And since we got a big enough space, I'm going to sneak in an extra little detail. These looking pretty good. Drink break. All right, so I've got a lot of space over on this side. And because I want to make sure that I'm spending a good amount of time on this, we're going to add a little bit more detail. So let's see, I'm going to start in pencil. I'm going to see if I can create a smaller version of this shape. In fact, let's even make it look like its mouth is open. We're going to make this like it's a baby going, "Hey mom, mom, pay attention to me." There we go. So I do want to see you make some pretty good use of the page. So if you end up picking a pretty small object, please make sure that you are working the entire paper if possible. So the nice thing now that we are creating essentially a baby version, we don't have to make up too much stuff. We're just recreating the designs that we kind of already did. Clean up the pencil, clean up the pencil. So if you do end up making a creature and you have the same situation where you need to fill in some space, I recommend making a baby. Little stripes. We're going to have the dots that go up to the eye, a little bit around the eye, and then fill in the space. I'm going to tilt this just a little bit for you guys so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better. There we go. So sorry if the angle's a little bit odd, but I think it'll help you to see what I'm doing without my pen sticking straight up into the camera. Thanks, Mom. Now when you're making a smaller baby creature like this too, you might have to do some little amount of editing. So like I'm still going to do this S curve in the ear, but since he's so much smaller, I'm not going to add that extra little line that I did on the mama. So like this part as well. Instead of adding an extra curve, it's just going to end up being a little dot in the center because it's so much smaller. So little alterations just to have it work out a little better. Tiny moon, little circle, tiny flower shape, little sun, and from there we're just going to go right into the stripes. So similar enough to the mom, but we gotta simplify it a little bit for the baby. Okay. Time for little beans. And then this has more of those for the last bean. And these beans are just going to get another little stripe in them. All right, now we had the stripe part of the belly, the dots part, the circles, and the squigglies. And then the back beans. So we'll start with that. These are a little bigger, so we have room to do the little half circle, but maybe not the other. We'll just do a dot. Squiggles. Okay. Now we've got the half circle and half circle. More dots. More dots, more dots, more dots. Today's theme is dots, apparently. Dots and lines and beans. There it is. All right, let's pull it back and see how the whole thing looks. A little bit higher, please. There they are. All right. It's looking pretty cool. What can I do on the side here? I'm going to add, just off to the side here, a little branch shape. going to use some short squiggly lines to kind of represent almost like tree bark. So a really easy way if you're doing a creature type and you've got some leftover space, adding in something like branches, leaves, a flower, some kind of outdoor element helps with the idea of having a bit of a background. And this is going to have a couple of little berries on them. So now we almost have a story. We have Mama looking at the berries, thinking about picking them to give to her baby. Ta-da! We have a beautiful story now. We'll just use these leaves to help fill in a bit. Now I'm just trying to fill in the space a little bit. See, if we were being professional artists in this, as in we were going to make this with the intent that we might end up wanting to sell it. This one's just getting started. You would need to use up the whole page. People don't want to pay for half of a page of something. They want to get their money's worth. So you want to make sure to use up your space well. Now that doesn't mean you can't have blank backgrounds. It just depends on what you're doing. But for the purposes of this, I want to give it a little bit of a stronger feel of the outdoors. I want to give it a little more story to my odd little character. By giving it a little bit of a story like this too, using the background to give it a storyline, it helps people to connect better with your creature. So as odd as this creature might look, people can look at this and recognize, okay, it's looking at the berries are food, the baby's down here reaching out like, hey, mama. So now we feel that, oh, this is an important character. She's taking care of her baby. There we go. I think we're actually going to cut it a little bit early today, guys, since it's a holiday weekend and I'm getting hungry and got things to do today. But that was about 45 minutes or so. So that's kind of what we're looking for on these drawings. Now, if you want to go ahead and color yours, feel free to have some fun with it. And remember, when you go to take your final picture, you need to have your paper with your name on it and you need to take the picture with the object that you used for tracing. All right, so have that kind of nearby. Try to get it in the same setup. Please don't put it like right on top, because then I can't see your cool drawing. Put it just off to the side, but so that I know what it was you used, and I get to see how creative you were in your using of it. Okay? I hope you guys have a great day. Let me swing you back around one more time. Since we're getting ready to go. Straighten up there, sir. There we go. Pretty close, pretty close. Got a little bit of lag on my thing, but I think you can see me well enough. All right, so have a great week. Be careful in the heat. You don't want to get too much heat either, but have a chance to get outside if you can. It's going to be really nice out for some of these days. Even if we get a little rain, that's all right too. Work on your drawings. If you have any questions or you need some help, please let me know. And remember, your own work is always better than trying to steal from somebody else, okay? So stay safe this week. Keep washing those hands. Keep covering up when you go outside. And I will see you tomorrow for some more artwork. And as soon as I hear from our winner what she would like to have for her drawing, you guys will get to watch me work on that. All right? So have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.